least have a build, so.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just got 36 million pieces.
See, that's the weirdest thing. Like, my Slack is working just to get it. I would not be on Slack.
Every time I tried yesterday, it wouldn't work. 1 out of like 10 times, or 1 out of 10 times I get it work. And that was when I completely restarted the computer.
By the way, Ben said he emailed you the list of our game jam people. Okay. I messaged him again. I was like, did you email it? He was like, yeah, I did like a week ago. I was like, oh, just checking in.
Ready for code day?
Yeah, I'm probably only gonna be here on Sunday because I have stuff on Saturday.
What was the race for my internship this week? That's not technically gold, is it? It's an extracurricular activity. I'm not doing something against the rules. How I am. Why are they getting my time for the wrong set? This really gonna bet if they clean up and fix it. Make sure everything everything works on this computer. Something like clean up on the computer's safe on quality. Last weekend, at least the old build on here. She took a certain step, but afterwards, I missed a step. Much better than I was doing there. I was like 20 minutes before your main phone. Hoping to figure anything out. Thing that happened about days over 5 weeks. That's any project when it starts getting to full strength. Once you start to understand how this is the function, once everything starts coming together, that's when the tractor starts rolling out. You lost your only programmer?
It took me there when I got it.
The next batch of online students. Hopefully you guys have a programmer.
Maxwell's too. In a way. What you got here? Make it super easy for me now.
Programmers are commodities. Oh, that's right. We're using our touching our build on. What's gonna happen, guys? Yeah, it has been the last video. Just realized with the time frame, like 5 minutes per project, that's the minimum 50 minutes. I'm not worrying, I didn't use this. HDMI game connection. So that's good. That helps it. Program automatically creates that.
I try to look younger. Yeah.
I actually just got it. Yeah. Like, I just wanted to through my phone.
Yeah. I told you, I was like, don't,
Thank you, though.
don't kill yourself today. She goes, why? I was like, 'cause we have long. I was like, I don't know what time Expo finishes, but at 6, that's when we're gonna go. Yeah. I was like, and if someone's getting tattoos, we're there to because granted, they have to wait. They have to wait to get there and get there. No one knows. It can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours.
Well, it's that stuff.
She's already having a bad day. She'll be fine. If not, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, well, no.
PowerPoint.
Making sure.
Do your credit. This is like it's online. So do give credit to all of your online people. And we are going to talk in the meeting about in and out for the talent pools. So come prepared for that. There's a list of things that we're going to leave. So we'll put it out there. Bring your executables back up. Four agendas.
Alright.
More agendas.
Oh, I didn't know if it was in order on that.
No. Whoever helps them first. Alright, welcome to week 5. We're going to get started shortly with a milestone review and retrospective. Can I have everybody's attention, please? We are recording and we are live streaming today. So as we have presenters up here, please do not come in and out of this location in front of the cameras. You can see one here. We've got another one here. It's just disruptive to the video as well as the audience. So if you need to leave, please wait in between the breaks. Leads have about 5 minutes each to present, so we're going to screen through these very quickly. And so just be cognizant of moving around or talking during the video stream. All right. Okay. All right. Get started shortly. What's the journey?
So I'll get us started. I'm Hugh Henry. I'm going to be lead on the Cortez family project. So we've gotten a lot done thanks to JT, our programmer and Scrum Master. So he's doing a lot of the Scrum Master duties in addition to programming. And our two great online artists, Chuck and Paul, have been doing a great job of getting some art in. So this is the point that we're at right now, is we're able to bring up the page, which kind of brings up the image. The order in which the images appear is going to be random, so it's already random in there. So each each time I start it, it's going to be in a different setup. And then we can choose the different conditions, whether this is kind of the neutral, no emotional valence condition. See, it looks like that was one that didn't have a alternate one here. But once they're able to see the image, we can slide through. And this also works on a mobile device with touch controls. Try to find the name of the animal, which I have no idea what goldfish is. It's they can drag it up into the location and see if that's the one that's the right one or not. It's not giraffe.
That's the one.
There we go. And so once it selects, it determines that it's correct. It removes this item from our list, and then we get in through the next one, so we can move through the next word in the list.
This one's got all three too.
Okay, and this one works with all the different conditions, so we can choose that this is kind of the negative emotional valence condition, kind of the crime syndicate theme, and the positive's more of the circus theme, and then they've got just kind of a plain background for the third condition. So we're well on our way. All that's left to do is kind of get some menus set up so that we can log in, get some tracking, so we track everything that the user does so that that can be studied in the experiment, and the intro video. So we're well on our way to getting there. That's our build.
Howdy, my name is Harlan, and I'm the lead for Project Oddity. And that's it. So far, Project Oddity is able to flow through the basics of the first section of the intro part of the game. We've got a rough menu screen. So, if everything's been cleared out, then we should be able to talk to a variety of characters, choose the selection of available options as they talk to you, and we talk to them, get what we need, and talk to a variety of characters. And as you play through the game, the characters should now be able to talk to you differently. So you can pretty much talk to one here, go to the next room. Not all rooms are unlocked now, so you can actually unlock them throughout the game. Just gotta get to my room for the rest. We find a new person. And as you talk to him, he gives you clues to progress further in the game. And after his initial intro, he will now just give you basic information on how to try and escape as you need to acquire items for him. Someone recorded of you. Let's see, we'll go back to the first one. And now we have some more interaction. As you talk to one person, you should now talk to you differently. Mention that there's someone in your room. So you can now about that. And as you talk to him about the window to allow for another character to give you information on what you need to do to get a screwdriver, exits, and option to go up there, but it's not interact items, acquire them, and they're supposed to be reflected in here, but as we make eye contact, we're throwing the indication, and then retrieve the item, and
Just click on the option again.
okay, there you go. And drop the item, which I now acquire from the web. And I can proceed to any of the rooms that have open windows unlocked. Exit out and proceed to break into the rooms. Then we just talk to them, get what we need, leave them alone, so they don't kill us, and head into our group, and we should be able to finish them all. We'll finish them first, but the intro, do that. There's still more polishing things to worry about, cleaning, small details here and there, but as far as gameplay goes, we can pretty much
Last option.
just go through the game now. We just need to build a lot more content. That's about it. And as you save, they'll react to what you did before. And that's it.
Jesse Rogers. I'm the lead for Couch Game. This first 5 weeks has been pretty interesting. I mean, our artists have been pumping out assets like crazy. Programmers been working super hard, so it's been going really well for us. As you can see, this little start here is our white box title screen, nothing special, but those controllers, whew, they're pretty great. We got pretty much our main functions down. Movement for characters, and just keep in mind, all these do work, I just only have one controller. Sorry. But we got our movements, our jumps, pickups, characters can die, all that stuff. There needs to be a few tweaks here and there, of course, for like the flashes animations when we get hurt, all those type of things. Our first level was the WWE ring. This was to pretty much give us a testing, something quick we could pump out so you guys could see how we were doing, what we were going to do. We've been messing with a few different things like the live screen, TV in the background, the big monitor, some small particles that aren't quite lined up right, but this is pretty much it. Just need to throw in some temporary music, get some more characters out, finish up some of the basic functions like the different crates and that general thing. This build, we made it so you can't actually, break it too much. It's pretty polished. It's been tested quite a few times. I know programmers have been testing it like crazy. Yeah, play through, go back and forth. Our online student, Diana, she's doing a super great job creating art for us. She's been pumping it out like crazy. They've just been all doing a really great job. Hopefully this next, or not hopefully, we will, this next 5 weeks, for the next sprint, we'll be polishing up our core mechanics, and then after that, it's just pumping out content left and right. Thank you.
Summerall. I was doing Project Tomorrow, and for the first 5 weeks we were pumping out a lot of concept art and different types of content like that. We weren't too focused on in-game stuff right now, but we have our level, the basis of one of our levels, the forest area. So we have jumps. He can fly if you keep pressing spacebar. We have our artists modeled all these rocks, and the designers mapped out this level. We also have like a ruined area. As you can see, the level itself is huge. We don't have the other players networked into it yet, but that's something to look forward to this next 5 weeks. We have everything from terrain, everything's collidable. We have water material and volumes into it, and we have our trees, our procedural trees that we did over here. We got our GUI working. Basically, we still have some stuff to work out into it, make it more polished, make it do damage and stuff like that. Our programmer, he's actually done a lot of blueprint stuff on here, but for some reason it didn't transfer onto this build. So I'll have to look into that, fix that. But other than that, we're going to be working on animations and as well as getting more blueprints into the level by this next 5 weeks. So as you can see, we have the water. The lighting also changes to how you look and where you're going. Everything is interactable. Also, the rocks as well as some of the ruined stuff is destructible. So if you do a certain amount of damage to it, it will explode and just spread out into a bunch of pieces. This is our forest area right here. The designer, Justin, actually did most of this, did all of it actually. Other than that, this is pretty much what we have. Our first level, we just have to put in the content for it now, all the blueprints and the events, the enemies, and stuff like that. Thank you.
Hey everybody, name's Ian. With I Am Survivor. I'll introduce myself again on the video, but I just want to give a shout out to the online students that are working on my project. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you for.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Goldsmith and this is the Island Survivor build review. This is the build. The white factory is my machine at home where I have the build running currently. I'm just showcasing the character that Sam built for us. It has the right click movement and all of that. The art assets that you see on the screen right now, I do have in editor more assets and I'll be going in there later to show those off. Right now I'm running over to my laptop to get my laptop set up, and on the top left you're going to see Angus Stormhand show up. That is my laptop. This showcases the networking that Robert was able to get in. Because I'm running around by myself, I can't be on this computer and the laptop at the same time running around. But there is an issue with the character controller on clients. It is known. We are moving into it and looking at it and making sure that we fix that bug. But it was a recent showing, and before this build there wasn't an issue. We don't know what happened, but we know that we are aware of the bug and we are working on fixing it. I'm now moving through the island, showing off some of the static meshes that we have for the different bushes, all the different foliage that's on the island. The big trees there are a visual and physical block. They are not harvestable, but the obvious island tropical trees are, or will be, once we have the harvesting done. But this is just to show that the static meshes are in the build and they are placeable for level design. Here's more of me running through the island that Jerry has gone and remade. We had some issues with texture for the island itself where the variances in height would hide some of the character, and to get around that we've made the map more flat except for dipping into and climbing out of rivers. And this is where I'm showcasing the visual blockage. You cannot see the camp from very far away because of how tall the trees are and how closely grouped they are. So not only can you not move through them or harvest from them, but it is very difficult to see through them as well, which makes the camps, when you build them, a good idea to place them around those big tall trees for that security. And now I'm here in the editor where I have more of the weapons and buildings that have been finished and added to the project but did not make it in time for the build. I have the early first tier stone and pickaxe, as well as the second tier iron, stone, and pickaxe, the dagger, bow, steel helmet, stone body armor, and simple shield. And then for the buildings, there is the simple forge, which is the building to the left, the anvil, which is a separate construction, but it works in tandem with the simple forge, the thatched fencing that upgrades into the palisade, the tanning rack, dyeing tub, barrel for storage, and the spinning wheel for making rope, as well as the campfire. Finish out the buildings that I have, and here are the rocks and more tree static meshes that will be, or that are available for harvesting from once we have the harvesting done, and it's just to showcase the static mesh. And that's it for the build. Thank you for your time.
We'll first start off with the build. We have two different things to show off, and we'll try to go through this really quickly. First off, I want to say thank you to our online students, Nathan Knutchuk and Allison Taylor, because this is the 15th week that they've had with us. So they have done an excellent job, and they've done some awesome stuff on the project. We're really glad that we actually got to have them learn, and hopefully we'll get to work with them either continuing on this project or on a project in the future. I also want to thank our two 5-week students, Christian, his name is Tidball and Christian. But basically both of them have done an excellent job, and they're giving a lot of creative thought into the process. So first off, what we'll show off is that we have one menu, we have a new sub-menu which has stats and credits on the credits menu real quick. Then from there we also have we'll go to crawl mode. We have the random chance of snow room spawning, which those are now there's 15 new snow rooms. They're a separate variant. They don't mix it with the castle, but you go with the snow room. It runs the same. Castle variant, because we have a couple of things added into that. Since it's a little random, it's a little tough to show exactly, but hopefully it'll do the other one. That works out better than the plan. But basically, down here we have the So basically, he has his stages, he has a really hostile stage where he just kind of goes there, fights, and after he moves up a little bit, he switches more defensive So, okay, we got the bosses, different sprite sheets, another boss, there's ghost enemy, props, Egypt,
Too fast.
crypt. Okay, too quick? Okay. Ghost, enemy, snow decals, Egypt, crypt, and the new Coliseum level, and then another new armor set. And that's it. We got a lot of stuff, but, you know, a little limited time. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Donald Shepis, team lead for Happy Skies. So a lot of what Happy Skies have been doing over the past 5 weeks has been making sure, or have been went back to like square 1.5. We looked at the way we currently had our game set up, and we realized that both scope-wise and ultimately monetization-wise, it wasn't going to work out for us in the best. So we kind of took a bunch of steps back, we reevaluated the concepts of the game, and we came up with this idea that instead of building out this big whole wide world segment that you're just going to go around, instead what we'll do is we'll make little sections that will be randomly spawned in between. So now, not only is it that it's easier because we just have these little sections we have to make and then just randomly spawn them, but it's going to make it that every time a player comes in and plays our game, it's going to be a different experience. Needless to say though, with that kind of big conceptual change, there's a lot of things that we now have to fix to match up to that, and we're still working on that to this point. But we do have a test level to kind of show how it's going to eventually work, especially in the terms of parallax. Now, something that was very obvious in all the previous builds we had was the world was kind of flat, it was kind of dead, things just kind of, you just went to the right and it didn't look too interesting. But now we've got a very solid sense of parallax in with the new parallax script. So as you can see, things in the background, they stay there more statically than things in the foreground. So as I move Mount Everest back there, it stays relatively in the same position, but already I've gone by and these mountains in the foreground are going past. So as we go through, that's kind of, and here you can see an early concept for, we're trying to get the parallax also to line up with this random generation, which is another big issue we're running into, where we have to make sure that the background moves at a certain rate, the middle ground and the foreground will move at these different rates, and we have to line them up, so that way when you get to these zones that transition, it'll be a more seamless take. Now these are all test assets, they're not our finalized actual background assets where they actually tile perfectly, but you can kind of get the idea of where we're going to be going here. So you go from that Nepal region, and now you're into the Japan region, which would spawn. And so all these things would be randomly generating. Another big kind of conceptual change we have is instead of having these regions be pre-built, we're going to be generating them on the fly. So these trees would randomly spawn throughout that entire big zone area. I have to give a big shout out to Matthew Butler. He's been with us for 15 weeks, and because of him, we've got pretty much all the character powers. They're working. We're a little slower on the art side, so we just need to get those art assets in, and then we've got all the character powers we've wanted since the beginning of last semester done. So that's kind of what we've got to show you for this week. It's actually, when you should get over to Hawaii, it looks really nice when you actually get into the islands, and you start to see how these islands, they're actually on top of each other. So it really gives you a bigger sense of depth and scale, and once we throw in a background fog, you'll actually see things, fading to white in the background, and that will be able to give the player more distinct visual identification of what's going on. So we kind of had to take a few steps back, but by week 10, we're definitely going to have a lot of big major changes to show you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm the lead for Mortal Coil. We're actually going through a bit of a change ourselves right now. We're reworking a lot of the art, so we did a lot of concepts this past week. This is actually the high poly render of the ghoul that we have going. We wanted to make him a little bit more grotesque than he's been in the past, so he has gashes all over him. You can see the exposed rib cage, all that fun stuff. Just a short little thing. But in any case, once we actually get into the build itself, we should notice one of the big changes fairly immediately. We sound going. So we have title screen music. Once you actually try and get into the game, it'll play sound as well. That'll actually bring us into the game proper. We actually went through and changed up, as you can see, all the enemies are now red for clarity purposes, but they also all have names above them now, so you can tell who they are a lot more easily. You can tell how much damage they're supposed to do, as well as your own teammates now are all blue, even though he's a little bit hard to see, but if we bring him out into the light. Additionally, we have attack and death sounds. These units have just kind of been pumped up a little bit so that we can show that off. So. We do have some just kind of test sounds into the game, make sure everything's working properly. And if you look around the environment, we added some more foliage to the mix just so that it's a little bit more colorful. We're going to be adding some more of that. All of this geometry will be changing. The church is currently being rebuilt. On top of all of this, if we actually move into the mission and kill the other two units that we have here, you actually have a way to win the game. So once all the enemy units are dead, victory. Right now, our continue button just takes us back to our title screen. In the future, it'll just lead on to the next level. We'll actually have a stats screen where you can use the experience that you've gained to progress through levels, and then continue on to the next stage. Likewise, we also have a defeat screen. So, one other thing that we have going, we do have our pause menu here. It has some music going with it. There is a small issue with it right now where even if you click resume, the music doesn't stop. We're aware of that and we're just working on getting that worked out. But if we actually go through and skip all the players. We also have a defeat screen. I thought it was fitting that we would submit the audience to the pirates for the defeat screen. So, and if we just continue from here, it'll just exit out again. That's what we've got for you. We'll be having a lot more for week 10, but thank you for your attention.
Alright guys, welcome to Mirrored Week 5 Sprint. Let's get going here. I'm going to show this. This isn't quite working all the way yet, but you have to keep setting the music and sound effects for the settings, but we want them to be persistent. So we want the music to start right away, and that's something that's being worked on. It's not quite there. But let's go into the attic. I'm going to show something right away. This has a new theme, as you can hear in the background, and also we're working on fixing the textures. A lot of them have been done. They are not in quite yet, but we want to get this looking really beautiful. Also, we're adding new elements to it to add the features and things, so that way when you go into the game, you explore, boom, you get these dolls, like for example in the case right here, you get them, they're placed in here. Last week I showed one of them, now you have 4 of them. Rather than going and showing, pick it up and then up here, that is just an example. They will show up here. Then you can come in 3D, in the 3D space and look at them with a 3D Lily and a Logos character, but also unlock special Easter eggs and different bonus features by coming to the hideout. And that's the kind of environment that we want the music to set and the tone to be here. That's an example of that, and we will have more items popping up as you go and click. Okay, so that's that one. Now we're going to go back. Main menu, the music does not stay permanent, so that is something that has to be fixed. Let's go into the new game. We have had team members create videos to show off the game in Unity, which is great. We are having programmers have tutorials, which will make sure that new members that come on will be able to actually integrate and do the things that we want to continue the work that we've started on. Internal levels, we've shown this before, but we're going to be adding new environment interaction dialogues as we had before in the town, like flickering TVs, and we're going to really have the world come to life. That is one thing that we've been working on a lot, as far as just making it look and pop. The second floor is present. You notice the music is similar to the outside farm theme, but a little muted and a little different and more unique to an inside type of theme. This is a new level, and one area that we want to show off right here. You can see the study. This is where a dynamic for inside levels and possibly outside levels is evolution. So the game evolves. This level will be fixed later and will be under construction right now, but will later be constructed and will have things that where the player can explore. Closed doors will have new rooms for them to go into as well, and this is where the player will start the game. We're working on the storyboard right now and getting the narrative put together, as it has taken a while to do, but we're planning on having that to show to lead players right into gameplay. We're also looking at taking the adoptive parents, put them in the farmhouse, starting more of like a tutorial-based level there. The barn and the loft will have the similar music to the inside farmhouse, and that is added. This is one doll example that is one of the ones that was in the case that I showed earlier. Key items and the dolls and other items will be collectible here, but will then have a 3D representation in the attic. Another thing, let's see, so traffic stops for players and also NPCs as well, so that way you can avoid accidents. We want to go over here. We want to show a little bit of the questing. So the ladder item that we showed off a little bit ago is actually going to be used to go to areas that retain the quest. This is an example of a hint to players that, hey, something is special here. Why not place down the ladder and go for a climb? So it's not quite working yet because we don't have the mayor's house level in, which we're working on getting done right now. So we'll pick it up, but that will be used to access quests, as we are really pushing on a lot more questing in the game, as that will boost gameplay and add NPCs. The NPC pathfinding, such as Teresa here, she's going to be walking across the road and traffic stops for her because she's so cool, right? She's going to move and across levels as other NPCs will also be done to have the character be able to interact with them, not just in a fixed place. And this will allow quests to be added as we continue to add that to the game. She's up to no good usually, as she looks like she has a guilty look on her face. What is she up to? We don't know yet, but you'll find that out as you play the game. The shield dynamics and reflections are being altered as well. So that way the gameplay for the bosses will not be as easy to do. So dynamic pathfinding, second floor, new art, new interactive dialogues will be added later as we go about the levels and get them worked out and fleshed out. We will have new animations, creatures, and a lot more gameplay to come. Thank you.
5 weeks, 10 teams on board. We've got 150 to 200 employees, many of them off-site on different schedules. It's amazing what you have done in the first 5 weeks. You have so much to be proud of. So just give yourselves another round of applause. This is amazing. The next 5 weeks is absolutely critical, though, in your production cycle. It's the mid 5 weeks. Everybody is full steam ahead, and we've got noobs that are now fully up to speed and ready to crank. So as you talk, get in your stand-up, your team meetings today, the things that you need to do are to discuss what went wrong as a team, not just individually, but also what went right. And now what we need to do is reevaluate our path. So as a team, based on what went right and what went wrong, find out if there's anything that you need to do differently for this upcoming sprint. Now is the time to reevaluate what you're doing. If you're doing great things, then there's nothing to change. Make sure that your tasks and your projections are accurate for this next 5 weeks for everyone. Your burn down should only reflect what you intend to finish for the next 5 weeks, nothing more. So as you adjust your schedules, make sure those burn downs are accurate. There's a lot of good accuracy so far in the burn down. I know folks are getting up and running with the system, but now's the time to correct that so you have accurate burn down. You can actually see your progress through the next 5 weeks. Okay? All right. If everybody has, or if you're sitting close to someone who has the agenda for today, take a look on the back of that if you would, and I'll go ahead and print up some more. We've got an event this weekend. We're going to bring in so many young game developers. Now we want to make sure that UAT continues to seek out these opportunities for you, but you need to meet them halfway by getting involved. These opportunities are tremendous for getting on your resume. If you are part of the leadership for the largest code day ever, which is coming to UAT tomorrow, then put that on your resume. You want to make sure that you are telling your future employers that you are involved in community efforts to bring up your game development society as well. So get involved. If you have any questions about what's on the back of here, contact these folks that have been put on here. I'd love to see you all out there helping, what was it, last call, 150 to 200 incoming young game developers. They're looking at you as the pros, so especially the vets that we have in the house, take your whole team out if you can, and make sure that you are there to support them and encourage them in their efforts this weekend. You doing okay? All right, jump this floor. There's no volume.
Alright. Hello everyone, my name is Tyler Cook. I'm the lead for The Deadliest War. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you to our online students. Ryan got all of our social media up and running this last 5 weeks, so that was really wonderful. Matt was our online programmer and he helped out a lot online with our online guys, or our on-ground guys. He did a ton of research for us, which was wonderful. And then our online designer did a bunch of paper maps for us, which was really helpful. So go ahead and start playing. So what we ended up doing was a white box out, really basic first level. The really big thing that we got in was all of the movement mechanics are done and our main character animations are solid. And that was really what we wanted to achieve for the first 5 weeks, and we got that done. We're still working on getting a lot of our art assets done. We are a little lagging on that. But the fact that we got everything working and in as it is now is really what we wanted to achieve, and we got it done. Yeah, we're just working on getting art assets in and then working on the next levels and the next sprints. So that's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, we look forward to seeing what you're doing. understands the individual retrospectives, but also the team retrospective is very important, just what we talked about. If you have any questions at all, leads, come and see me right after. Go do your thing.